Hello and welcome back to the second half of this morning video of a Trini in Atlanta. As I mentioned earlier on, today is my daughter's 35th birthday party. It's not a birthday, it's a birthday party, and her dad and I are making some food to take over to her house because she's doing it at her pool. And if you have listened to my other videos, I hadn't teach her to cook. So when she has something, I always jump in and try to help her. Besides that, she's an only child, so she's very spoiled. So right now I have this big pot up and I'm going to make fried rice in this pot. So I'm going to add some of the avocado oil as usual, not a lot, just enough to coat a little bit at the bottom of the pot for the avocado oil. I'm going to take some of this ginger and garlic paste that was so graciously made so I wouldn't have to do it. And and I'm going to let that cook a little bit there so that it will bring out the flavors in that. Leave that there. While this is cooking, this is the Chinese seasoning I'm going to use in the fried rice. I'm going to take some of this garlic, roasted garlic and butter, golden ray butter that I made. The brown spots that you're seeing in it is the garlic was caramelized, and I'm going to put some of that in this and let this melt. Then I'm going to add the vegetables, all these vegetables to the fried rice.
What's in it?
It's carrot, cubed carrot, green peppers, onion, celery, and some broccoli. That's it. And in the chow mein that you had seen earlier, almost the exact same vegetables, except in the chow mein have Christopher. So I'm going to let this cook for a few minutes, because in this you want the vegetables to cook down a little. You don't want hard vegetables like you would like in the chow mein. In the fried rice, no. You want cooked vegetables. So I'm going to let that cook. I'm going to stick this in the sink until I'm done. And then I'm going to wait for a minute for this to cook. If you notice, it's cooking. So it will take a couple of minutes, not a lot, but a couple of minutes. And I'm going to, you see this vegetable I have cut here. I am going to use this to do the pepper shrimp that I'm going to do after. But I'm doing 2 sets of pepper shrimp. So I need a hot pepper, 1 habanero pepper for the pepper shrimp. I think, okay, yeah. I knew we had some here. I wasn't sure where. So I'm going to wash this habanero because it's frozen, right? And I'm going to use this habanero in one of it. If when I taste it, it needs another pepper, I will put it then, but I will only put it after I have tasted it. So for this, I'm going to cut this habanero in 2, and then I'm going to cut it into 4. Why? I don't want to cut it into small pieces so people cannot see what it is and eat it. You know, they let it be their decision if they want to eat it or not. I don't want to cut it in 2 smaller pieces. And I still will tell them that to look out for the habaneros there. So this is cooking. Did you bring the rice in for me? Where is it? Okay. So I had boiled the rice last night, and I had to make it cold because I needed the rice to be cold in order to fry the rice. So this is here, this vegetable is almost ready, because this fire, it works pretty well. This fire works pretty well. Have it to me here. Right here. I'll make some space here for it. I'm done with this because I took the vegetable out. I don't know where that came from. Maybe I forgot to wash it earlier on. Right here I have the rice. Now this is a rice spoon. So what it does, it takes the rice out and it does not break the grains out. Thank you, honey. It doesn't break the grain out. Now, because this rice has been pre-boiled, it will make beautiful fried rice, but you also will have to cook it more because the rice is very cold. But you want a little cold day-old rice when you're making fried rice. Now, you could make it with hot rice, definitely, but it always makes a better fried rice, so grainier with day-old fried rice, with day-old rice. So you see that there? This is cooking here. This is almost ready for the vegetable because you can see it's getting a little bit clammy. So you know it's almost ready. And now I'm going to turn this heat down. I'm going to turn the heat down for a little minute so that that wouldn't stick, and I'm going to add the rice. So I'm going to add the rice like this. So I'll keep adding the rice. So this might be right. It's enough for me to be able to lift up now. It wasn't before because it was heavy, but when I take some out, it was able for me to lift up. For right now, I'm going to put that there. I'm going to put this here. I'm going to turn the fire back up so that the rice could start to get heated again. This will take a little minute to get hot. So let's keep turning for the color. Then I'm going to add the flavoring state, the seasonings for the rice to have some taste. So you see, that is there for now. So to this, I'm going to add some of this Chinese seasoning. I'm going to add about 3 spoons of that. And I'm going to add some of the dark soy sauce. Because for the rice, I want the dark soy sauce because I want the rice to have a beautiful color. So I'm going to add some of the dark soy sauce. I'm going to add, not this chili oil. I think I'm going to add this one. This is a garlic chili sesame oil. This is pretty good. So I'm going to add not a lot because the kids wouldn't be able to eat it if it's spicy. So I'm not going to add it. I'm going to add a little bit of this brown sugar, and I'll see if I need more later on. And for now, I'm going to turn this up and see the flavor and the color. But first, before I can see the flavor, I'll have to turn it up to see the color because the rice is still cold. So I don't think I need a fan because this is not going to burn. So the fan makes so much noise. But when I'm doing things that will burn, I like using the fan so that the sprinklers doesn't go off, doesn't make noise. It goes off and the alarm goes off and make noise and noise and noise and noise. So that's why I have to put it on. So 2019, we bought this house, and when we were doing the rent, it was a smaller house, a much smaller house, but we wanted something close to the business because my husband hadn't been feeling well, and I needed him to come home when he needed to come home and rest because he works, if you give him a chance, 24 hours. So I needed that, and we got this house. And when we were thinking about the design to do this house, I wanted to do this cooking and this channel, and so my husband designed this kitchen in a way, because why I'm telling you all of this, everybody comments about the kitchen and I appreciate it because this was my dream to do this, and my husband knew that. So when he was doing the kitchen over for me, he went out of his way to do this kitchen so that it would be pleasing for me when I was ready to do this. And I needed a bigger kitchen than usual because I know I have a large family, and eventually I would like to cook with people. I would like them to come and cook with me. I would like to cook with them. So I wanted space in the kitchen. The stools, if you want to come sit down and taste, like my daughter did the other day, or the space in the back here, if you want to come cook something with me or show me how to cook something. And that would be an invite for my friend, the chef I told you about, Omar. Anything he wants to come and cook with me, I am available because I'm excited about that. So, but I have a lot of friends who cook, and I have a friend, I'm not kidding you, his name is Deke. He's Trinidadian. He makes the best corn soup. So that's a challenge for him too. If he wants to make the best corn soup, he can come and we can cook that together. So the party last night, he did a lot of the food, and Nigel, and it was so good. Thank you, Marina, for that pylori. I enjoy that completely. So there are some people there are a lot of people actually who can cook, and I would like them to come and cook with me, teach me. And there are some things too that over the years my mother would cook when we were younger, but they don't make again, like sohari, pumpkin and sohari, and baigani, but not the kind of baigani that you buy, debe, the ones that looks like the finger and it stays, and you put the curry in it and you fry it and you eat it with sada roti. One day I would like to make that because, but I bring in my brother for that because he is very good at that. The ones who is the cookatasa, he is very good. And maybe my roti maker and jerk chef, he will come in and help me sometime if he could, because he's Jamaican and he's really good. He is really good. I guess Tasa has gotten its popularity because not me, but the people who have cooked the food over the years have been very good at what they do. I'm going to taste this. You see the color? The color, you see, my love, how good the color is? That is the dark soy sauce. The dark soy sauce will give you that color. The light Kinkoman would never let you have that pretty color. So I'm going to taste this not only for flavor, but to see if it's it's very good. It doesn't want anything else except some sugar. It needs to get some sugar. It doesn't have enough sugar. But salt, everything is good. Doesn't need any more salt or anything. I'm going to let this cook here and let it heat up. Keep turning it because I don't want it to stick too much. But it's not hot. It's not hot at all. It needs to be cooked a little more. Now in that, I'm going to add some sesame oil because this is almost done. And I'm going to add some of this. This is for that, and then the rest is for the pepper shrimp. So I'm going to add, because this is almost done, so I'm going to add a handful of that and some of the Chinese oil. Now this is done, so I'll have to search the fridge for some more for the pepper shrimp, but for now this is done. So this is done. So I'm short, so I get burned all the time. So don't worry about that. You notice my hands. It's pretty much disfigured. My husband always say, if I get in an accident, people will think that I'm being abused. But it's not being abused, it's cooking. I'm short. I'm 5'1". Thank you. My husband said he don't know where the one came from. But I think I'm 5'1", but maybe 5. And so everything is always bigger than me. So I always have to brace myself because I will get burned. So this is cooking. This is done. I have to check it again. Check it again for the heat, not for the flavor. The flavor is good. It's just for the heat. Do that one more time. Good, but it's still want some sugar. You're not getting that Chinese flavor from that. You need a little sugar. The Chinese flavor is a mixture of salt and sweet. It's not only salt, it's a mixture of salt and sweet. So I'm going to move this out and I'm going to leave it for a while because I want to cook the pepper shrimp. And I'm going to leave this here uncovered because I don't want water spill on it. So I'm going to move this pot from the stove. I'm going to get a couple of these. And I'm going to put this here. And get a and get this, because this is completely, totally done. The rice is cooked through. The rice is heat through because the rice was already cooked. It just needed to heat through. The rice is heat through. If the rice is not completely heat through, it will spoil. So that is one thing you have to make sure when you're making cold fried rice. Let it heat through. So I'm going to make one batch of the pepper shrimp, the one with the pepper for you, and let's just see how it's done. Now I'm not going to plate these today because it's not mine. We are not going to eat this. We are taking this to my daughter's house. So when I get there, they will plate it and they will decide how they're serving it out. For me, I am done with this for now. I'm going to move this out and let this stay here for a few minutes and let it cool off. That is done. I'm going to get this okay. I'm going to get the wok and I'm going to make my pepper shrimp. And then I'll make one set and I'm good. So let this heat up here. Now I'm turning back on the fan. Now I'll turn back. Now here we go. We have some more sesame oil, a little bit. So I'm going to put it in the microwave for a second. And then I'm going to put some avocado oil here. Let's get some at the bottom. And I'm going to add these things to this. I'm going to add these things to this. I'm going to let that cook for a couple of minutes. Let it cook for a little minute. Now everybody have their way of how they cook. Everybody have their way. But I am not going to add the shrimp to this. I'm going to cook this a little, put it on the side then, because this shrimp is going to let water. It will let out water if you cook it with the vegetables, and it will end up overcooking and never really getting the flavor. So I don't want that. So I'm going to take a plate, cook this out for a little minute. I'm not adding any salt or anything to this because truly I don't want water in this. And if I add salt to it, it will get watery. And that is not what I want. I don't want any salt in this. So I'm just going to let it sit there for a couple of minutes and cook out quickly. This is done. This is for this pot to empty it in a little minute when I'm done completely. So you can see the whole pepper here, the habaneros that I use, the Scotch bonnet habaneros, and the green peppers, the onions, and the tomatoes. So you can see that right here. Now I'm going to move this out now, throw it in that plate, because I don't want this to overcook until I'm ready. So this is done. This is completely done. This is just literally for garnish. I am going to add a little bit of the avocado oil and some of, I need my ketchup. Yeah. I'm going to add some ketchup. This ketchup, I'm going to add a little water because I want to thin out this ketchup a little. So I'm going to add that. I'm going to turn the fire down a little, and I'm going to put some of this ginger and garlic into this here. Now, they will still, because they have water in the ginger and the garlic. So it will spill some and burn you. So be very careful when you're doing this. Okay, so that is there. Now to this, I'm going to add the ketchup. And I'm going to let the ketchup cook down for a little bit. So to this, I'm going to add the ketchup. Maybe quarter cup, half cup, quarter cup, about quarter cup of ketchup. I'm just still going to put some water to this for the gravy. So I'm going to let this stay. I'm going to turn the fire back on, and then I'm going to let this cook. I'm going to let this continue cooking, this ketchup continue cooking until it sort of thicken up and get flavorful. Now this is the seasoned shrimp. I'm going to use half of the shrimp and then leave half for the unpeppered one. So let's see let that cook there. I'm going to get a little bit of cornstarch to make a little slurry to put on that. Just a little, not a lot. So just very little, not a lot. So about that, maybe a half a teaspoon. Not that, you don't want it thick, because if you put too much, it's going to get thick. So maybe a half of a teaspoon like that of this cornstarch. I'm going to get a mixer and something like this and completely do this like this. All this is after I am done cooking everything. I put a little more water in this. After I'm done cooking everything, I'll put this for a little to thicken the sauce and a little gravy. So that could stay there for now. And this is cooking out. This is some ginger, some garlic, and some ketchup. And all the ketchup is doing is burning out and becoming thick and flavorful. And pepper shrimp, definitely you have to put ketchup. You have to. If you don't put ketchup in pepper shrimp, then that's not pepper shrimp. That's a shrimp, but not pepper shrimp. So this needs that. I'm going to let that cook for a minute or two again, a minute or so, and then I am going to add half of this shrimp to that and see how that goes. So I'm going to add half of this shrimp to this. To this, I'm going to add half of this and see how this goes. Okay, because maybe a little more than half. The kids are not going to eat the shrimp as much as the adults will. So I'll cook a little more for the adults. I'm done with that. And let me see how this goes here. See, it's changing color already because the pot is hot and the shrimp wasn't very cold. Okay, let water. This doesn't take but 5 minutes to cook, because as soon as the shrimp get pink, you start seasoning it and it's practically done. But I'm going to let it cook completely and then turn the heat down for a minute, taste it, and then add what I want to eat. So that way I'll know exactly what it's missing. So if that, I have to make the other set. And this is for the kids now to have. I'll make this in a little minute for the kids. Let's see, everything is here. And let it cook. I have to keep turning it, otherwise one side would cook and one side wouldn't. So it always looks better. I don't know if it tastes very much different with the shell, but the presentation is definitely better with the shells. But that's for another day. So earlier on, I talked about a lady who reached out to me from Trinidad. Very nice lady. Her name Melissa Ramkisoon. I just wanted to shout it to you this Sunday morning. I hope whatever you're doing is fun. I appreciate you. It was such a generous thing to do, to reach out to me from quite Trinidad just to say hi. I thank you for subscribing. I thank you for liking. I thank you for watching. I thank you for making me and my husband a part of your mornings or your evenings or whenever you watch us. It's been an awesome, awesome few weeks, months getting to know you all. I appreciate you. For the people who have some advice for me, I am willing One thing I would ask, keep your comments nice. I don't mind if you're critical. Pepper. I don't mind if you're critical, but please remember I have family and I don't want my niece to call me again and say, Auntie, somebody didn't like you. Yeah, so I said, that's okay, honey. At least he looked at the video. So now we know he didn't like me. So that's okay. So this is practically, if you notice, the shrimp is turning into a C. That means this is almost done because it's turning into a C now. Now all I have to do is kind of let it cook out for a minute and then taste it. Because I already seasoned this earlier on. So I don't want to over season. So I am going to get a spoon and taste this. Because you know shrimp you can eat raw. And taste this. That's good. You want some of this Chinese seasoning here. You want a teaspoon of Chinese seasoning. Definitely some chili oil. Definitely chili oil. Some sesame oil. Sesame oil. A little touch of soy sauce, not a lot. Just a little touch of soy sauce, nothing too much. And I'm going to add this again. And I'm going to turn this up. I'm going to turn this up. I'm going to turn to add for a minute. I'm going to taste this again, and then I'm going to add the slurry to it after I taste it again, so that, let me taste this so I can know the salt. Pepper is there. I can taste the pepper. This is done. This is completely, totally ready. But I'm going to turn this off because I don't want it to cook any more than it already has been cooking here. So I'm going to turn this off. No, sorry, I have to turn it back on. I forget the slurry. I wanted to put the slurry, a little gravy, so that it'll have some sauce. I'm going to leave that. I'll make another little bit of slurry for the other shrimp. And just boil a little for a second, not long. Just as soon as it comes up to a boil, I'm going to turn it off. And that, goody, 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 goody. I'm going to take half of this and put it in this and leave the next half the other shrimp. And I'm going to turn this off. Okay, here we go. And thank you, this is it. Thank you everybody for joining me on this beautiful journey today, my daughter's birthday. I thank you very much. Please subscribe, please share, please like, please comment, and I will see you again on another journey. Thank you and have a beautiful Sunday.